Hey, I'm not trying to force any ideas on anybody. I'm just saying. Hello everyone, it's Tyrant, and I hope you're all doing well. And before we get started, I just want to say that I'm sorry for delaying this part so often. I've just been busy with other things and also working on other content. But now that much of it is out of the way now, we can continue the story proper. Now, you lovely fans have come up with some very interesting questions over the past few parts. And before we actually start, I want to cover them right here, right now. Our first question is about the resident destroyer of this what if. Now by now, you should have heard about Zai. He was introduced all the way back in part 1. But there was something off about him. He was definitely there because he had to be. It's a Dragon Ball Z meets Naruto what if, so we kind of had to have a god of destruction. But there's also something missing from that equation now, is there? So I'm going to take this time to let the people in the live chat to try and guess what that is. You have 30 seconds. For those of you super fans out there, yes, Zai is indeed missing his angel. And the in-lore reason I have for that is that Zai just has a pretty bad habit of ditching her. So I'm going to introduce her in another part, so expect to see Zai by himself again in the near future. Now the second thing that people wanted to know and have been asking me is about Naruto's power level. And I've been trying to avoid the concept of power levels for this what if, mainly because they kind of aren't relevant. I mean, they've kind of been out of relevancy since the Buu arc. And also, how does one really put power levels or judge them in a world where they don't even exist? So yeah, I'm going to keep power levels to myself. And for the meantime, just try and figure things out until I can straighten them out. The third and final question is, people wanted to know if Naruto was still the reincarnation of Asura. And to those people I ask, does it really matter? You've already figured out that Zai is going to have some part in the battle against Kaguya. So, really, if she did anything that would be remotely threatening to the universe, he's going to destroy her. Which he can easily do. Though, there are more things I want to add to this, but we can talk about that when we get to the Kaguya fight. Plus, the idea of just a reincarnation system in Naruto is just kind of stupid to me. I'm not writing it out completely, but just the way I want to say it is that it's not really going to be playing too much of a factor in this what if, simply because of the second source material that we need to consider. And that is it for all the questions you guys had so far. With that all said and done, let us continue with the next part of What If Naruto Was a Saiyan. We continue where we left off at the end of the preliminaries of the CHUUNIN exams. with both Naruto and Sakura looking for Kakashi so he could train them. But like in the original canon, he refuses because he's busy with other things. So he hands him off to Ibisu, who they are actually both meeting for the first time. Because remember, Naruto did not meet Konohamaru in the same way. So this is actually the first time we are introduced to this character. And what is different about Ibisu this time around? He actually doesn't dislike Naruto. He is the adopted son of the 4th Hokage, so yeah, he kind of has to be nice to him this time around. Now, in the previous part, I asked you guys in a poll whether or not Sakura trains with Naruto. And yeah, you guys made it loud and clear. She is indeed going to meet Jiraiya. So that's going to be 3 what-ifs where Sakura is going to learn the Rasengan. But don't you worry about that just yet. We still have a whole part to go through before we can even talk about the Search for Tsunade arc. So once again, the poll becomes, who learns the Rasengan first? Would it be Naruto or Sakura? So yeah, you guys vote on that and we can get to that when we get to that. Training with Ibisu to learn the water walking jutsu happens as it does in the original. But once again, Naruto finds himself wondering what the point is since he and Sakura can fly. But on the other hand, you can still debate that this would be a useful technique, he might not always be able to fly, and he just decides to humor Ibisu. Besides, it might be fun. That is to say, it would have been fun until some frogman decided to take down Ibisu to stop him from peeping on girls in the bathhouse. The old man introduces himself as Jiraiya, the Toad Mountain Sage, and that interaction goes about the same as it does in my What If Sasuke Died scenario, with Naruto calling him a pervert and Sakura being verbally disgusted with him and really alerting all the girls in the bathhouse and causing them to run away, much to Jiraiya's dismay. Jiraiya actually has a harder time ditching these two than he does in the original canon, and even more so than he does in my What If Sasuke Died What If. For one, they can both fly, so there's no real way to get away from them when they have eyes in the sky, that being themselves. 2, Naruto is faster than Jiraiya, being a Saiyan, and 3, even if that wasn't the case, Naruto has a much stronger sense of smell, so finding him would be a more simple matter, even in the hot springs. Jiraiya does agree to train both Naruto and Sakura, but on the one condition of, you guessed it, flying lessons. What possible use could Jiraiya have to learn to fly? Well, it's Jiraiya. You know he's going to be using it for perverted means, mostly. Now, as you would expect, when the water walking jutsu training continues, Sakura gets it right away, while Naruto has a bit of trouble getting it down at first. He still learns it, but he's learning it at a faster rate since he does not have the 5-pronged seal to hold him back. What about Jiraiya finding out about Naruto being the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki? Does that still happen? Kind of. He still finds out about it, just in a different way. Remember, Naruto did have his shirt off when doing the water walking jutsu. So, when he's asked to focus his chakra, it's for a different reason. It's mostly so Jiraiya can get a good judge of Naruto's overall power. He also does ask Sakura to do it, but she's fully clothed. So, yeah, sorry folks, you don't get to see Sakura in a bikini. Naruto learning the summoning jutsu is also very different here. First off, Jiraiya needs to explain about Naruto having 2 chakras within him, with Sakura around him as well, and she has no clue what that even means. And that's also part of the reason why Sakura cannot learn the summoning jutsu here. Her chakra pools aren't quite deep enough to really master such a taxing jutsu. She does come to the conclusion that Naruto having 2 chakras inside of him is the reason why he can master this jutsu, but she can't. So, for the meantime, she's just gonna practice on her own. I will say though that it is during this time period where she does learn the Shadow Clone Jutsu. Just like in my What If Sasuke Died What If, she does learn it. But she has even less mastery here than she does there. Maybe managing 2, 3, or 4 clones instead of the 5 to 10 in the other What Ifs. Now, as for actually learning the summoning jutsu, it's going about the same in the original canon. Again, Naruto is just having an easier time getting a better handle on it, and is summoning more and more polywogs instead of tadpoles. But as for bringing out the actual power of the Nine Tails, that's very different as well. Because we got to remember that Naruto doesn't have the same feelings for Sakura as he did in the original canon. He doesn't quite have the same concept for romance or love. Because again, Saiyan and all. So, when Jiraiya asks if he has anyone particular that he likes, he just doesn't quite understand. He does say that he's pretty good friends with everyone though, especially Sakura. And Jiraiya doesn't really have anything to go off of that. Ultimately though, Naruto does eventually get to summon Gamabunta, by being thrown off a cliff by Jiraiya, much to Sakura's vivid dismay. And, yes, of course, the whole Naruto trying to stay on Gamabunta's back for the whole day happens as it does in the anime, only with him having a much easier time staying on with his Saiyan strength. Yeah, Gamabunta, I'm sorry dude, but you're gonna have a monkey on your back for quite some time. This does mean, however, that before summoning Gamabunta, Naruto finds out that he is the Nine Tails Jinchuriki much later than the original canon. Because, as we all know, he found that out in episode 1 in the anime. But here, it's just before the final part of the CHUUNIN exams. He is just finding out that this thing has been inside of him this whole time, and he doesn't know what to think of it. Naruto still does need to go to the hospital. Yeah, he still did tire himself out from holding onto Gamabunta's back all day. But thanks to that Nine Tails of his, he does recover really fast. And yes, he does get a Zenkai boost from exhausting himself in that manner. Thank God for Saiyan genetics. Everything else up until the finals of the exams happen as they do in the anime, with the only real exception being is that Naruto and Sakura both fly to the arena and aren't late. Yeah, because remember, they can fly now. Oh, and since Dosu still died in this timeline, Sakura will fight whoever wins in the battle between Shikamaru and Temari. Naruto's battle with Neji is a lot more one-sided than it is in the original. For one, Naruto can fly, and I very much doubt that the Gentle Fist technique works particularly well when your opponent can strike you from a distance, and especially when your opponent is faster than you are. So yeah, Naruto doesn't even need to resort to the Shadow Clone Jutsu to really take down this foe. it should go without saying that Temari is a much more formidable opponent than Dosu. But that doesn't mean that Sakura's going to lose here either. The way I see it, Sakura can fly, so that fan of Temari's is pretty much going to be her go-to weapon to keep Sakura at bay. But Sakura also has Ki Blast, so yeah, she has a means of hitting Temari even still. So essentially, Sakura only uses Ki Blast if she can't get close into land hits, and when she can, she resorts to hand-to-hand combat, thus landing her the win in this battle, leaving Temari somewhat beaten and battered. She's not dead, but she's not really going to be factoring into much either. Like Naruto and Sakura, Sasuke also has the power of flight on his side, though I'm not entirely sure if that's going to do much of anything since A, GAARA can also fly with the sand, 2, it's not really going to be helpful if you still can't land a solid hit on your foe. Again, GAARA can protect himself with sand, and I still don't think those Ki Blasts, which he can still only use to stun, are going to be particularly effective against that shield or even armor of GAARA's. So, yeah, sorry Sasuke, but you're still going to have to resort to using the Chidori to get through GAARA's defenses. The Sound Ninja ambush does happen as it does in the anime, but there is something I would like to change to throw a bit of a curveball. I'm going to say that 3rd Hokage was by the side of the 4th Hokage when this attack happened, and is currently holding back Orochimaru from attacking the 4th, and the 4th is also trying to help the 3rd Hokage hold off Orochimaru. So yes, instead of just Orochimaru versus Minato, the 3rd Hokage is there too. And that fight is going to be very much different. What's going to happen there? Well, you're just going to have to figure out next time, because that is where we are going to end things for now. Now, I know I didn't seem to cover that much, but believe me, I did. In fact, this is actually longer than I would have liked to have gone. And next time, we will be covering the rest of the CHUUNIN exams and the search for Tsunade arc. So, I hope you've all enjoyed this part so far, and are looking forward to the next one. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon for more. And I'll see you all next time.